Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you back for day two. I hope you were as excited and as filled with overload of information as I was yesterday. It's a joy to be a part of an effort when you leave the table too full to take in anymore. I want to begin today by making sure that we give appropriate thanks to many people who really played the key roles in making this whole effort, this workshop possible. First of all, the National Academy of Education staff. Abby and Regan, who've been out there attending to registration and logistics, including all of our great meals and the like. To Diane, who's been our slide runner. Diane has made sure that the slides all get up on the screen at the right time, and that's essential in a conference like this. Also want to acknowledge the great support from our fearless and thoughtful leader, Greg White, who's the Executive Director of the National Academy of Education. And finally, of course, to Amy Berman, who's been the key staff member in pulling all this together. And so we thank you all for that. On behalf of my... On behalf of my co-chair, Susan Furman, we want to also give an acknowledgement to our steering committee, all of whom who are here. You've met thus far because they were really the guiding lights in helping us pull this whole effort together. A couple of reminders about the logistics of this meeting, particularly the open forum part, and that is that when you speak for the first time, would you introduce yourselves? What that does is it helps the person who's doing the transcript associate names with statements that people make and the like. We did that yesterday. We were good about it in the morning, but not so much in the afternoon. But I just think a single introduction the first time that you speak from the floor will do the job. Well, amongst the insights that I gained yesterday, and these are not by any means all of them, is that the first one is that we have a lot to learn from big data research, both substantive insights to guide policy and practice, perhaps even unearthing a few causal mechanisms, and if not unearthing those causal mechanisms themselves, providing good candidates that subsequent experimental research might validate. Secondly, these insights come both at the macro level, big picture policy guidelines that we can get largely from administrative data, and at the micro level, that is tracking causal mechanisms perhaps in the moment-by-moment enactment of pedagogy and curriculum inside classrooms and the like. I think also a theme that I took away from yesterday is that partnerships really matter. Partnerships with school districts, with states, with business and industry and the like can all enhance this kind of big data research. And also that if we want to work with other people, that trust is essential. And that trust can't happen without good lines of communication, and that's certainly something we all need to worry about. And that also means, as researchers, making sure that we do due diligence in finding ways to represent or represent the knowledge that we've gained from research in ways that are digestible to a broad audience. And I think finally we had a lot of examples of making sure that we're vigilant about slippery slopes that we might travel on, and also trying to be alert to conspiracies of good intentions where we set out to do one thing and end up doing just the opposite of what we want to do. And what that means is that I think we need to reframe our effort. I think Adam Gamron gave us a nice way of thinking this not about balancing research needs against student privacy, but rather balancing the quest for high-quality information to guide educational practice against student privacy. And I think that framing of the dilemmas and that we face provides, I think, a better and I think more accurate account of what we're about. Well, today we turn from sort of like the production side, if you will, of the research effort to the consumer side and the youth side. And we have a couple of panels, one to talk about the use of information, and the other to sort of try to help us make sense out of all the things that we've heard over the last day and a half. So I'll begin by turning things over to our first panel this morning, and Chris Dede.